So recently I was scrolling on Tubi to look for something to watch among the endless stream of hot garbage on TV, and as I was scrolling, I saw something that I forgot even existed. Clash of the Corps is a 2016 reality TV show by executive producer Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The show focuses specifically on the Cadets and the Blue Devils as they competed during the 2016 DCI season. So, what do drum corps and reality TV have in common? In my mind, pretty much nothing, which is probably why it received a single season before it was canceled. So let's talk about the show Clash of the Corps.
This is Clash of the Corps.
I think the show in general does a lot of things decently well in terms of telling the story of the 2016 season, but there are some massive problems that I will talk about towards the end of the video. Firstly, I think it does a pretty great job of describing what drum corps are, especially to the common viewer that probably has absolutely no clue what the heck they're watching.
Drum corps is marching band times 5,000.
Crazy, right? You take 150 college kids, shove them on a bus, and you just go around America.
You're stuck with people 24/7.
For tour, it's wake up, we're somewhere, it's like 4 in the morning, we're all tired, have to blow up your air mattress next to like 500 other people.
And I do like how it shows normal rehearsal pretty often during the show. Like there's a lot of moments where it kind of just shows clips where the staff and the students are communicating to each other. It shows a lot of clips of the students kind of marching around on the field, which is something that you really don't see too often. A lot of the time on YouTube, you're going to watch full shows that are technically up there legally, or maybe some short in the lot clips. A lot of the times you don't really see those rehearsal clips. And so that was a pretty cool thing to see throughout the show. It's super cool to see the differences in terms of the ways that the staff at Cadets and Blue Devils communicated to their members. Obviously, reality TV shows are super manipulative in how they pick and choose which clips are shown to the viewer. But seeing even those small clips where the staff and members were talking and giving comments to each other is a pretty fun thing to see. I do also think that the show does a pretty good job at capturing member moments. Like there's a moment where we see the color guard playing What Are the Odds, which as far as I know is not a game that I've ever seen outside of drum corps. And so to me, I would think like honestly it was kind of funny to see like, oh hey, they played that game too.
Candace, what are the odds that for the rest of the day you walk everywhere you go? 1 in 50. Okay, 1.
We see this a lot throughout the show, but I just don't think we see it enough. It's only like maybe once or twice an episode. The show picks like 4 or 5 members from both corps, the Cadets and the Blue Devils, and it for the most part focuses on only those people.
There's a video online of the Blue Devils, and they're the guys that just execute at a really, really high level.
And I get it, you know, the producers want to create some type of narrative to the show to suck viewers in and keep them coming back for the next episode. But to me, I feel like the most entertaining parts of the show were when it focused on the random funny moments rather than the one-on-one interviews on specific members. I feel like the show tried really, really hard to find what I call reality TV moments, to the point where you're literally seeing them basically just make up drama. Like, yeah, these are young adults, sure. But having gone on tour, I can safely say that it's not as dramatic as the show makes it out to be.
Care about? Yeah. Is that all you're thinking about? Your seat? Kinda. Yeah.
The block's over when I say it's over, Brandon. You know, when we lose, sometimes we start bickering. But, you know, that's kind of how every family is. But on the field, sometimes things can get heated.
You even care? Clearly not.
Reality TV, especially in the context of like game shows and like dating shows and stuff like that, they usually make use of an incredibly controlled environment. But I feel like the show is just constantly like reaching really hard for something that really isn't as dramatic as this show so desperately wants it to be. Okay, so now that we've talked about some of the good things that the show does, it's time for me to absolutely tear it apart. To start off, the show came out in October, like 2 months after the season ended. So while the show tries to paint this picture of like the Cadets and the Blue Devils being in so close competition with each other,
2 teams. The Blue Devils, the Cadets, going after the ultimate title, Drum Corps World Champion.
we as an audience, especially a drum corps audience, already know how it ended, with the Blue Devils in second and the Cadets not even close in sixth. So to me, it's like it's a big problem, because from an audience perspective, especially an audience that doesn't exactly know about drum corps before watching the show, they tell us that the Blue Devils and the Cadets are close with 17 and 10 championships respectively. But in reality, the 2 or maybe 3 competitors were the Blue Devils, Carolina Crown, and the Blue Coats. And sure, you can say, Chris, how are the TV show producers supposed to know who would be in close competition before the season even ended? I don't know. Maybe the fact that those were exactly the 3 medalists from the previous season? Like, even if they choose Crown, for example, at least it would make sense considering Crown was the previous year's runner-up. But Cadets were coming off of like a 4th place season, so for most people somewhat knowledgeable about drum corps competition, wouldn't say that they were really in close competition with the Blue Devils in 2016. Like, you wouldn't say, for example, that the Steelers and the Patriots are the biggest competition in the NFL just because they have the most Super Bowl wins. So like, I just don't know why they would choose the Cadets, to be honest, considering that they weren't even close to winning the previous year. And that's, to me, one of the bigger issues. My second problem with the show is that it has a lot of super short clips of the music and the performances by the drum corps in general, but it just doesn't show anything major. Like, I understand that copyright law is a challenge to work around, especially when it comes to recording drum corps shows. I mean, look at the shit show that we have to deal with when it comes to flow marching and the way that they go about posting performances after they've happened on the live stream. But at the same time, you kind of expect a TV show producer to get it done, because like, why would they not show off the performances that the entire show is supposed to be about in the first place? Like, there's literally a part in the show where they show music that's not even drum corps music at all. Not even close. And it's supposed to, like, it's showing like it's almost like as if it's coming from the performance. And so to me, I know that that's not the show that's happening, so it's just dumb. Like, I wouldn't want to watch that. So for obviously, I could go look through my drive of cake recipes if I wanted to go watch full performances, but the average TV viewer doesn't have access to those Google Drive files. So how are they supposed to see those live performances if it's not being shown? My last and biggest reason for not liking the show is that it doesn't even do as good of a job about being a show about drum corps as the Blue Devils themselves do already. The Blue Devils have a YouTube series that they do every year called BD360. And it not only gets uploaded throughout the season, not after the season, throughout the season, but it also shows significant portions of their show in addition to that. So like, in my mind, why would I watch a show on TV chock full of advertisements and ad breaks when it's not even the best option that I have compared to a YouTube series that had been released months prior? In general, the show does one thing that no drum corps can do, and that's put a drum corps on TV. And when the show is out after the season ends, DCI as a whole loses that opportunity to sell tickets to those people that might be interested in attending a live show after watching. And I promise, those people that only heard of drum corps through that TV show are not remembering it enough to go out and like reach out to DCI to go get tickets to watch the shows the next season. And that's where the show fails. There were probably at some point drum corps newbies that only found out about DCI through the show and got excited enough to actually look into seeing a live performance, only to find out that not only had the season ended and neither the Blue Devils nor Cadets won, but also they couldn't go see a show until the next summer. In the end, I think it's cool that both the Blue Devils and the Cadets got the opportunity to put themselves on TV, but I think there was just too many factors contributing, from lack of viewer interest, bad timing on the show's part, to the fact that most people aren't really that interested in marching band. Hopefully you liked the video, and if you did, you can let me know by giving the video a like, subscribing, and clicking on that bell icon to be notified every single time I post a video. I'll see y'all next time.